And welcome to Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church's in-person and online worship. Whether today is your first time here or you've been coming for years, we are so glad you're with us today. My name is Caroline Marsden, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm serving as this morning's worship associate. We are a growing community that transforms lives through the power of love. Our mission calls us to celebrate diversity, encourage spiritual growth, and promote social responsibility while we travel on and care for the earth. A special welcome to those at home who are joining us on Zoom today. If you're attending for the first time, please go to our website and fill out the welcome card so we can know more about you. We have one announcement today. Our Friday afternoon call for action group will be working with Planned Parenthood on Friday, June 6th. We will learn about phone banking from Travis Longstaff, a member of the Portland Planned Parenthood staff. He will be walking us through how to use this important tool for resistance. We meet from 2 to 3 in rooms 7 and 9. Laptops and phones are welcome to attend. Please stop by the social justice table after the service and find out more about this action and more. Now I invite you all to take this opportunity to silence your cell phones so that we can be fully present to one another. After the service, please grab a cup of coffee or tea in the kitchen window and stay for conversation in the sanctuary, or head down to the end of the long hallway to join a group for the brown bag lunch. Those on Zoom may stay on and connect with one another. And now let us center our hearts and minds with the sound of the singing bowl.
Good morning. Good to see you. Happy June. Can you believe it? My God. I'm Reverend Tara. For those of you I haven't met before, my pronouns are they, them, and I serve as the minister of this congregation, Allen Avenue Unitarian Universalist Church, or A2U2 for short. It is my delight to be with you. On this first Sunday, this first morning actually, in the month of June, we gather here to reflect, to sing, to pray, to listen, to share. We come together because we are not meant to go it alone. There are times in life where things change, for the better or for the worse, outside of our control. We get unexpected news. Something happens, things change. And we can't just turn around and go back to the way they were before or continue on the path we had charted. We can only carry on into the future in the reality of life as it is now. This is what we will explore together this morning. After our time for all ages, our children and youth will join Emily down the long hallway for an RE session focused on the history of Pride Month. And they'll also make posters for the Pride marches and celebrations happening all through the month, especially for Portland Pride, which is on June 21st. As we continue to settle into this place, this time together, this time set apart and made sacred by our gathering, I invite you to take a breath, to be present in the here and the now. Friends, it is good to be together. Come and be welcome. You are joyfully called to worship.
As we light our sanctuary chalice this morning, those joining on Zoom are invited to light a chalice or candle near you to connect us more deeply with one another. Are we a people of holding on or letting go? Holding on to rigid ideas or letting go and opening our minds and our hearts to something new? holding on to certainty of how things should be, or letting go and living with the uncertainty of new ways of being in the world, holding on to what makes us comfortable, or letting go so we may grow. With this flame, this symbol of our faith, let it be a symbol of burning up the ties that hold us back from being our true self and reaching our true potential. Let it be a symbol of lighting a new way for us into a better tomorrow, and let it be a symbol of letting go, because holding on too long and too tightly is never good for the soul.
We light a second candle this morning, a candle of community, today in celebration of this first day of Pride Month, where we celebrate all throughout June the beautiful diversity of human sexuality, gender, love, and family. Will you take a breath with me? Our opening hymn this morning is not in your hymnal. It's new. I know. It's called Spirit of Gentleness. It's beautiful, so we'll figure it out together, don't worry. It'll be up on the screen. Dale will play it through once, and then you'll be invited to rise in spirit or in body as we sing together. The first two verses. Sing the third and fourth verse at the end, so we'll have another shot at that, y'all. Yes. So I want to talk about an expression. Raise your hand if you have heard the expression, burn the ships. A couple. Can anyone tell me what it means? No going back. Commit to the future. Anything else? Do you know where it comes from? The Pilgrims, good, close. Conquistadores. Okay, we get a little complicated here. So this expression, burn the ships, comes from an ugly part of history, one of many moments of damaging colonization of the Americas by white Europeans. And so I debated whether this was an appropriate time for all ages to bring to you all, because its history is quite toxic and complicated. And I decided that I would anyway, so that we can understand it and understand the harm in its origin story, and also understand a common expression that relates to what we're exploring today. So here we find ourselves. All the way back in 1519, Spanish conquistador, colonizer, Hernán Cortés led an expedition group across the Atlantic Ocean to what we now call Mexico, to conquer the Aztec Empire. After a long voyage, he and his men arrived on the coast and made their way to the mainland. They were tired and they were questioning the journey ahead of them. They were hesitant, so once they reached land, Cortés ordered them to burn the ships. By doing so, he eliminated the possibility of returning home, bailing on their plan, eliminating the possibility of retreat. Success was necessary because there was no other option. Legend has it that Alexander the Great did the same thing earlier, around 330 BCE, when he led a fleet of Greek and Macedonian ships across the Dardanelles Straits and into Asia Minor to conquer the Persian Empire. Other warriors across the ages, like the Vikings, have been said to have done the same. So it's an expression that is violent, right? It's come out of a place of moving into conquering another people. And though this is not in alignment with our values, that's not what we're talking about. What this expression has come to mean over time is it's come to be a metaphor for those moments where you make a choice or encounter a circumstance where there is no option to turn back or return to the way things were before. The only option is to move forward from the place where you are. Sometimes these are choices we make, like to change careers or get divorced or stop a medical treatment. Other times these are things that happen to us, a diagnosis, a loss, something we didn't choose. No matter the circumstances, the ships are burned, so to speak, and we have to decide how we will carry on. It's a heavy topic, but there's life in it too. So hang in there. Those of us staying in the sanctuary this morning will dive deeper into this idea later in the service. But now I invite Emily forward, who will introduce our lamplighter, who will lead those heading to RE to their session.
Thank you. There are actually over 12 kids in the building, and none of them are lamplighters, so I will be lighting the lamp today. I see Dolive just arrived, but I don't want to put her on the spot. She said no. Okay. All right. So before we leave, I will light the lamp to symbolize the expansion of our sacred space. And those, I want to welcome all of our new families. And if I didn't speak to you before, feel free to have your children follow us as we leave to go to RE and childcare, or feel free to stay in the sanctuary.
Would you join me in the spirit of prayer this morning with words adapted from Scott Cooper? We bow our heads in order to imagine not one path, but many. We imagine a path forward for those who cannot imagine any path forward because of poor health, financial hardship, family crises, and other roadblocks we cannot begin to understand or imagine. We struggle to imagine a path forward for those who are forced to leave a homeland against their will, and for those unable to leave a war-torn homeland despite their lives being in danger. We imagine a path forward for those who leave their homes to make a better life for their families elsewhere. May we be a welcoming presence along that path toward hope. We come together to imagine a path forward for those of us despairing because we do not seem to know our country nor our neighbors, despite the fact that we have not moved at all. May we be the good we are hoping to find as we travel side by side down the path toward hope. We imagine a path forward for those who feel lonely, overwhelmed, full of grief, challenged by the circumstances of life. May we take one another's hands as we travel down that path toward community. Truly, we know as we imagine these ways forward and take one another's hands, the paths will lead to hope, the roads will lead to beloved community, and the arc will bend toward justice because we have dared to travel with love in our hearts. In the name of that love that knows no limits, I pray. Amen.
Next is a responsive reading, which I'm glad to see is up on the screen because it wasn't in my order of worship. I will lead and you can join in the all. Through dreary and sodden days, the fields sponged up the graying skies. Oh, no. Amazing. The field sponged up the graying skies. And blossoms on the vines, designed in spring, come out to sing again. As through the seasons of our years, thank you. Now is the time in our service when we engage in the spiritual practice of generosity. Our gifts support the ministries of this congregation and our work in the broader community. Each week, 1/3 of our offering is given away to a local organization doing the work to advance our shared values in the world. This month's Share the Plate, now that we are in June, is the Portland Gear Hub, a not-for-profit bike and outdoor gear shop whose mission is to provide equitable access to outdoor experiences and gear, promoting well-being, sustainability, and resilient communities. If you're interested in more, you can also chat with our administrator, Joe Bell. Donations can be made now as the basket is passed through the donate button on our website, or if you're a member on Breeze, remembering to make a note that your gift is for Share the Plate. If you are visiting us for the first time today, please know that your presence is your gift to us. At this time, our offering will be collected and gratefully received.
A reading by Karen Johnston. The brain whirls silently, electrically, single dendrite reaching out to all the others. Mouth opens, tongue finds its purpose. Words spill out or jump out or cascade down. Sometimes they dribble, timid and fretful. It doesn't much matter how these words enter the space between us. Once they are out, once they are said aloud, said within hearing, said and received, there is no going back. They might begin as a line drawn in the sand, currying impermanence. But somehow, whether bidden or unbidden, they become, ravine, then wedge, glyph, and portent fiberglass hull scratched with wear, an arc beyond our grasp, a concentration of solids, gas and liquids, a dry aqueduct that leads into the ocean even in our mutually parched states. These words form a new topography, a terrain of fresh barriers and emerging junctions, and unfamiliar pathways with brightly colored blazes guiding us on. These words might join you and me, yet cut me from what was once life-giving. These words might herald the end of you and me, at least as we knew it, or perhaps altogether, while connecting you to some new life force you did not even know existed. The brain whirls, the heart beats, the skin hungers. We understand the meaning of these words with our fingertips, with our gaze, with three tiniest bones vibrating in a canal of cartilage. There is no going back, not with these words. There is only going on.
Lay down, I lay me down. Lay down, I lay me down. Lay down, I lay me down for my soul. By still waters I lay down with the lambs. In pastures green I made peace with my soul, and I cared not for the night while my guiding star shone bright. By still waters I lay down, I lay down. Lay down, I lay me down. Lay down, I lay me down. Lay down, I lay me down for my soul. Lay down, I lay me down. Lay down, I lay me down. Lay down, I lay me down for my soul. At the roadside I took toll of my times. In dirty streets I found peace for my soul. May the merciful be right. Are you ready for the night? At the roadside I lay down, I lay down. Lay down, I lay me down.
There is no going back. Not with these words. There is only going on. No going back moments. Those moments where words are spoken aloud, are laid down, and everything changes. You know the words I'm talking about. You have spoken them. You have heard them. You have lived them and been changed by them. Words like, I love you. I'm gay. You have cancer. Words like, I quit, or I have Alzheimer's, or I need help. Words like, this relationship is over, or I'm pregnant, or he's gone. When we speak these words out loud, the ships have been burned. Once they are out, once they are said aloud, said within hearing, said and received, there is no going back. Sometimes, of course, we choose a no going back moment. We end a significant relationship or walk away from a career. We choose to stop a medical treatment that is prolonging our life. We sign adoption papers. We say, I do. And nothing will ever be quite the same. Other times, no going back moments happen to us. We realize we will not survive a life lived in the closet. We are abandoned or left behind by someone we love. Our bodies develop conditions for which there are no cure. And nothing will ever be quite the same. There is no going back, there is only going on. But how in the world do we survive these moments, let alone carry on into the future? That is the question. Not whether we will have a going back, a no going back moment, a burn the ships moment, but how we will survive it, make meaning out of it, and live alongside it. It's not a question I can answer. Answers are lived into by the questioner in these cases. I don't know how we go on. I only know that for the most part, we do. And thank God we do, because this world needs people whose hearts are broken open to the horrendously terrible and unspeakably beautiful reality of being human. People who are strong enough to tend to others experiencing heartache, people who are strong enough and tender enough to withstand the same. None of us should have to suffer to gain wisdom, perspective, or life experience. We should not have to experience pain to develop empathy, compassion, or spiritual insight. But we do suffer. We do. Our ships burn whether or not we are the ones who light the match. Our lives hang in the balance, in the liminality, the in-between then and now. And so we take the next first step. A few years ago, actually right when I was starting this call here at A2U2, my middle-aged pastor friend David gave me a book. The book's prologue is entitled, "There Are Very Few Emergencies," which pissed me off right from the get-go. Why would David give this book to me? New minister, easily overwhelmed, deeply invested in other people. For me, sometimes everything feels like an emergency. But the author, the Reverend Molly Baskett, has some wise words to say that I've taken to heart, and I actually return to the text often. Thank you, David. First, Baskett reminds her readers that the root word of emergency is emerge. She writes, if you are unlucky, or that is to say, an ordinary human, You have emergencies. The thing you found in your teenager's room, the lump you found in the shower, the phone call that changes everything. When I say that there are very few emergencies, I don't mean truly terrible things don't happen. I mean if we do things like breathe, delay gratification, feel our feelings in real time, keep ourselves from too much impulsivity, and reach for the right practice and the right people, we can survive. We can emerge through disaster. These words, these no going back words, emergency words, as described in our reading, form a new topography, a terrain of fresh barriers and emerging junctions, and unfamiliar pathways with brightly colored blazes guiding us on. But only if we speak them. The late poet and essayist Adrienne Rich said that what is unspoken becomes unspeakable. Though at times impossibly hard, I do believe that the naming is often the first step in the direction of survival. Because my role as a minister is one where confidentiality is held, judgment is suspended, and love is central, I am invited into people's no going back moments on a regular basis, which is an immense privilege. Not being able to fix people's problems is the worst and most amazingly liberating part of my job. It's the worst because I almost never have an answer. You all know that. It's the best because I get to do the one thing I know how to do, which is love you. That's the thing we all know how to do. That's the thing we can all do. And it's the core of what anyone learning how to human through a no going back moment needs the most. Love, in particular forms, is how we survive. And love looks like trusting ourselves with our feelings. We need to cry and grieve and rage and not pretend we are okay, to feel the feelings we expect as well as those that make no sense to us. Love looks like resisting the quick fix practices like drinking, overworking, picking fights with our spouse, doom scrolling on WebMD, and seeking out that which keeps our lives from falling apart even more than they already have, like showing up to therapy or the 12-step meeting, asking for help, finding community. Love helps us to find those people who can bear witness, who can hear the really bad, really hard, really ugly stuff and not turn away, who can be clear about what their boundaries are so that we can trust them, who can listen without fixing, show up without judging. Often these don't end up being the people we expect, not the best friend or the sibling, and we are let down. It ends up being that random guy at AA, or the friend we haven't talked to in 20 years, or the pastor we've only met twice. Embracing the love of people, regardless of who they are, ends up becoming a lifeline if we let it. Love is what brings our awareness to the movement of the Spirit, what notices the presence of God, however we understand it and whatever we call it. Love is how we survive. Molly Basquette writes, and I can confirm, that people training for the ministry inevitably take a seminary course in theology about the nature and being of God, the concepts of sin, salvation, heaven, hell, grace, redemption, resurrection, prayer, and more. At progressive seminaries, We see all of these through the lenses of structural racism and sexism, colonialism, and liberation theology. The goal of all this, she explains, is to arrange the religious truths we are learning into a self-consistent whole without gaps, helping us to better teach and pastor the people in our care during times of crisis or struggle. In short, it's a blueprint for a boat of sorts. But we don't really know yet if the blueprint will create a seaworthy vessel. The only way to know that is to test the boat in real-world conditions, out on the open sea. Most of you don't study theology academically, but you do live your theology, whether you're conscious of it or not. You live our shared Unitarian Universalist values each day of your lives in one way or another, and you are guided by what you believe, even if you lack the precise words to describe it. Your worldview, your understanding of the sacred, of morals and ethics, of why things happen the way they do, this is your blueprint for your own boat. When life is going well, we may feel we are sailing a seaworthy vessel. When words are spoken, which we cannot unsay or unhear, when we experience a no going back moment, our vessel is tested out on the open sea. Basquiat writes, every one of our experiences tests seaworthiness. Life as it stands will keep trying to smash our boats onto the rocks. If we think we are safe, we are wrong. Nothing can insulate us from loss. But safe was never the point. There are fates worse than death, like not ever really living. With the right kind of attention, she says, ruptures can reveal us, emerge us, and help us to evolve. Now I've mixed my ship metaphors, haven't I? You may be without a compass. Are we burning ships or building them? Both. Sometimes we're burning them. Sometimes they're just burning. And there we find ourselves. And we are always creating, co-creating really, new vessels to carry ourselves and one another with our presence and our witness and our theology and our love. It's hard, extremely hard to build a vessel while it's sailing, especially hard to build a vessel while it's sinking, which many of us are doing. It's hard to find out our theology, our worldview, our ethical framework is lacking while we're in the middle of an emergency, until someone reminds us that we have the only tool we actually ever really need, which is love. And in reminding us, we awaken to that saving truth that we are not alone. Even in the breaking, there is blessing. Even in the shattering, love remains whole. So when we cannot go back, let us go on together, the wind at our back, sailing into the promise of a new, brand new day. May it be so. Amen. Our closing hymn is verses 3 and 4 of Spirit of Gentleness. Dale will play it through again so we can hear the tune, and then we'll do our best in singing.
Actually, it's an abbreviated introduction.
David Rico writes that what makes us human beings so uniquely wonderful in this puzzling universe is that we never give up on love. Against all odds, with no guarantee of being loved in return out of the hate and hurt so often handed to us. In the face of the sad suffering history has let us see, we go on loving. What deep respect we deserve for this capacity of ours to make love out of anything and to let it last. Our worship has ended, and our service begins. Friends, go in peace.